Chair, fellow Toastmasters, and very welcome guests. We cannot solve the problems of today's world with the same thought process that created it. This is a quote from Albert Einstein, one of my heroes. And for years, I have been looking and searching for that other thought process that could help to solve all the problems of this world. And I thought I found one. So I practiced and practiced. However, the sheer amount of problems that don't seem to stop, quite the opposite, they seem to get bigger and bigger, at some point made me feel frustrated and hopeless. And the reaction was, first I was getting angry, and then I was getting disappointed, and then worse, I disengaged. Albert Einstein is one of my favorite people because he comes from the background of science. And I believe when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. In my case, a dream happened to me, and it really happened. And that dream I would like to share with you. I found myself sitting in a courtroom. I was on the witness stand, and the accused was a man I loved. The distance between us was similar, or a metaphor for being of a different ethnicity, living in a different country, having a different gender, having a different political opinion or point of view. The person who was the prosecutor tried the whole time to convince me that this person was really bad and that he was not good for me and I should let go of him and give up on him. And the thought process I learned, through this, I learned to disengage from this and sit there and listen to the questions, and I wasn't getting involved emotionally whatsoever, and I only answered. However, at some point the questions did get more personal, and I started to touch my heart. He was saying things like, he only used you because he needed you in his business venture. And then he was saying, he cheated on other women, and he will do the same with you. All of a sudden, I could feel doubt in my heart. I could feel that my eyes would go away from him, that I wouldn't look at him directly, and that I questioned my unconditional love that I professed for him, and that I wanted to retrieve. And then the scenario changed. In my place, sitting, was Jesus. And Jesus, for me, in that regard, was a metaphor for unconditional love. The whole courtroom was lighting up, a beautiful, amazing light. The prosecutor tried to question him too and convince him how bad this person was. But all that Jesus was saying is that all he can see is unconditional love. All he sees in everybody sitting there is love. This light was so amazing. The feelings I had just watching at this image were just beautiful. And then the scenario switched again. I was back in my seat, and I knew what to do. I looked at the man I loved. I answered all the questions, and all I was sending him was unconditional love. And I received it back 100 times, because behind him was sitting his mother and his daughter, and I could see that they started losing faith in him too, with all these questions. I could see that he himself lost faith in himself, and what that does to people when they are losing hope, when they are losing faith in themselves and in everybody else. I recognized that the jury who was sitting there were just my minds, my thoughts, my beliefs, based on past experiences, based on what people, what community, what family was telling me. But that was not the truth. The only truth was that there is only love. And when I sent it out, and when I received it back, again the whole courthouse was lighting up And everybody was healed in that moment, including me. And then I woke up. And I remembered another letter that Albert Einstein was writing to his daughter. And I loved this letter. And he was actually telling her not to show this letter to the world at least 1 or 2 decades after his passing, because he felt humanity wasn't ready to hear it. He was saying that there is a universal force that science so far has not yet managed to explain. And that universal force is encompassing everything else and is bigger than everything else. And that is love. And he was sharing that with her, giving her his regret that he did not understand this love and this law earlier, because he felt he didn't give enough of that love to his own daughter. So when I was reading this and remembering this, I thought, now I understand what he really meant with, we cannot solve today's problems of this world with the same thought system that created it. We don't need another thought system. We need to live from the heart. If we only believe in everyone, in ourselves, and in love, and send it out and learn how to give it and receive it, everything will be healed. All the problems will be solved. So my only question to us is now, are we now ready for the truth? Madam Chair.
1 minute silence while the judge marks the ballot.